So here are the rules for tonight's forum. Candidates participating this evening are broken into 3 groups. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for an opening statement. We will then move to the question and answer segment. There is no rebuttal. Candidates within each group will be asked pre-screened questions, and they can choose whether to respond. Each response will be limited to 1 minute. At the conclusion of the question and answer segment, each candidate will have 1 minute for their closing statement. We will have a timer displayed and ask candidates to respond once the timer begins. Please note that we will have a facilitator monitoring the time and the audio. Candidates, please be respectful and mindful of our time restrictions to avoid being muted. Now it's time to meet our candidates. We're going to start with Florida House District 89. And we will begin with the candidates for that race. They include Destiny Baker Sutton and Deborah Tendrick. District 89, Florida's House District 89, stretches from Southern Boulevard to the north to Hypoluxo Road to the south. It runs from Dixie Road to the east and almost to Jog Road to the west. This office is elected for a 2-year term. Please note that both primary candidates were invited to this forum. And we'll now begin with our opening statements. Ms. Baker Sutton, you will have 90 seconds for your opening statement. Please wait for the timer to begin.
Good evening, and thank you, When We All Vote, for putting this important forum on. I am Destiny Baker Sutton, and I am a 3rd-generation Floridian. I grew up in District 89, went to daycare and elementary school there, K through 5. I am the wife of a teacher, and we are the proud parents of 2 young children. I'm a former prosecutor, where I held criminals accountable and kept our neighborhood safe. I am a former attorney for our county commissioners, where I protected taxpayer dollars in state and federal court. I'm a small business owner. I own a law firm where I pursue justice for victims who have been catastrophically injured. I know what it takes to balance a budget and run a successful business. I'm running for state representative to make sure that we lower the cost of housing, that women have the right to choose what we do with our bodies, that we are providing our future generations high quality education, that we can enjoy world-class healthcare that does not break the bank, and that we address the skyrocketing insurance rates in Florida. Again, I am Destiny Baker Sutton, and I am asking for your vote for state representative. You can vote by mail, during early voting, or on Election Day on August 20th. And you can learn more at www.destinyforflorida.com. And I look forward to answering your questions this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Baker Sutton. So let's get to the questions, and you will have 1 minute to respond to each of the questions. Again, please remember to wait until the timer begins for your response. So the first question, what are your top legislative priorities, and what bills are you prepared to file if elected to the State House?
Great question. It's hard to answer in 60 seconds, but let me tell you, the top issue that I find when I'm talking to people out in the community is affordable housing and the skyrocketing insurance. So I'll focus on that. Right now, the leader of the Democrat Party, Fentrice Driscoll, has proposed several pieces of legislation. And the 2 most important are House Bill 1477 and House Bill 1499 that I will support to help see those through and get passed into legislation. The first piece of legislation will create a commission that will identify all of the issues that we find and that we need to address so that we make the most educated decision regarding the skyrocketing insurance crisis. And the second piece of legislation will encourage affordability of housing by giving the local governments money to build affordable housing in our communities. So the partnership between the 2 things are the first 2 steps, lowering the cost of housing, building more homes, and working closely with local government to help people have affordable homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's move on to the second question. Describe for us your current involvement within the boundaries of District 89, with special attention on how you have worked prior to your candidacy to improve the lives of residents within that district?
Absolutely. I was, as I said, a third generation Floridian, born and raised in Palm Beach County. And when my family moved to Palm Beach County in the late 70s, we moved to District 89 in the Forest Hill Apartments, right between Nico's Pizza and Purdy Lane. I've been dedicated to my community all of my life. And in particular, in District 89, I work closely with the Children's Home Society, which is located right in District 89. And we do a year-long partnership. These are children who are homeless and separated from their parents. So we help them get toys for tots, school supplies. We're currently building a library in the facility. We help them with hygiene products. I also serve in District 89 on the Children's Family Society of Palm Beach County. And what we do with CFS is we provide low and no cost mental health services to everybody in Palm Beach County, but we are located right in District 89. Those are just two of the things, and you can learn more about me on my website.
Thank you. On to question 3. The current makeup in the Florida House favors Republican legislators. You're a candidate in the Democratic Party. If elected into the current makeup, you would conceivably have some difficulty passing bills that are more aligned with your party's interests. If elected, what is your strategy to carry your bills through the legislative process and bring resources back to District 89?
It's a great question. Right now in the Florida House, there's 85 Republicans and 35 Democrats. And so you absolutely have to have the ability to work across party lines. And I can tell you right now that I have the support of both Democrats and Republicans. And as a lawyer, I have 20 years of experience doing just that. As a lawyer, what we have to do is we have to convince an opponent, an opposing counsel, somebody with a differing viewpoint than us to accept what we're trying to say, or we have to convince a judge or a jury. And I've got 20 years of doing that, working across party lines, working across the aisle, working with people who have differing opposing viewpoints. And I will bring that experience to Tallahassee. The issues that I want to focus on are issues that all of us care about: education, safety in our communities, affordable housing, and mental health. These are things that, regardless of your party affiliation, you're going to want to support.
Thank you. On to question number 4, which is our last pre-screen question. Thinking back over the last legislative session, which bills do you support and which do you oppose?
Well, I can tell you that one of the issues and one of the main focal points, working with Representative David Silvers, who has my support, and I have his support, is that mental health is a huge problem. And so there's some legislation that we've been working on, and he's been working on, regarding Baker Acts. If you're a child and you're in school and you get Baker Acted, law enforcement comes to arrest you, put you in handcuffs, put you in the back of the patrol car to take you to a mental health facility. And we need to get rid of that. When something like that happens at school, then you need to be able to be transported in a regular vehicle for that. Another issue that we see is the changes to education, the changes to what curriculum can be taught to our children. My husband is a history teacher at Inlet Grove, and he is specifically being instructed to teach curriculum that does not uplift the Black and Brown community or any community. And that is something that I intend to focus on and correct.
Thank you. If you give me just a moment to check to see whether we have any audience questions. Okay, having received none, we will move on to our closing statements.
All right.
In your comments, please tell us why you are the best candidate and what differentiates you from your opponent. You'll have 1 minute. Please wait for our timer to start to begin your response.
I am the best candidate for the job because I have the professional experience that matters. I'm the only candidate who has worked for over a decade as a prosecutor, keeping dangerous criminals off the streets. I'm the only candidate with experience protecting taxpayer dollars, which I did as an attorney representing our county commissioners. And I am the only candidate who is a small business owner who can put my business experience to work for you. I have spent a lifetime giving back to my community, supporting our underprivileged youth, advocating for mental health services, and mentoring young women. I have relationships that matter. I'm proudly endorsed by our current state representative, David Silvers, local police, women's and business groups, equality organizations, 2 U.S. Congresswomen, 5 state representatives, our tax collector, Ann Gannon, 6 local mayors, 11 local commissioners, and over 150 community leaders, because they all know that I can get the job done. Please vote Destinie Baker Sutton for state representative. You can vote by mail, early, or on August 20th. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Destinie Baker Sutton. Although Deborah Tendrick could not be with us tonight, she has drafted a statement about her campaign. Her intern, Michaela Lewis, will deliver her message. Ms. Lewis, please wait for the timer, and then you may begin.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here today. I am honored to represent Deborah Tendrick tonight as her intern and doctoral student at Lane University. She is running for House of Representatives for District 89 and could not be here tonight, unfortunately, but I am thrilled to speak on her behalf. I have known Deborah for several years, beginning when I volunteered at a nonprofit organization, Eat Better, Live Better. From the very first day I met her, I was inspired by her unwavering dedication to the community. Deborah is just a leader. She is a beacon of hope and a tireless advocate for those in need. And when Deborah shared with me her decision to run for office, I was ecstatic because I know she is the best person for the job. And her candidacy was born out of a genuine desire to serve and driven by the countless voices from her community urging her to step forward. And Deborah works tirelessly day and night, always putting the needs of others first, whether it is through her nonprofit efforts or her daily interactions with her neighbors in District 89. And the community deserves a candidate who shows up, and Deborah has and will continue to do so. She has engaged in meaningful discussions with thousands of constituents about the future of District 89 and democracy at large by knocking on doors, attending community events, and calling the voters directly. I believe in Deborah because I have witnessed firsthand her relentless pursuit of positive change, and I truly believe that she is the best individual for this job. But thank you for having me speak on her behalf today.
Ms. Lewis, thank you for appearing on behalf of Ms. Deborah Tendrick. And thank you to all of the candidates for Florida House District 89. You all have a good evening. We're now moving on